remember, when you get a great buy on your property, you don't get a good basis in your acquisition. You're going to be constantly running up against your profit margin the whole way through. Buying it $100,000 over and stuff is trading for 200 gives us plenty of safety. Local agencies can't get out of their own way. They all say they want housing. They say they want new development, and this is characteristic of cities all over the place, not just California. Portland's pretty notorious for it. They throw up roadblocks and people, building inspectors, getting their little fiefdoms, and will be a thorn in your side.
I'm gonna hand it off to the guys of Grant, my known since 8th grade. So now, throughout the school, we're crazy in high school, but budget rates, he was 18. It was this smart. So, okay, well, Grant, take it away.
Cool, yeah. Thanks, Craig. So Cole's been trying to get me to come do one of these for 2-3 years, a long time now. So can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah, this is good? Cool. So yeah, Coleman's been trying to get me to do one of these for 2 years now. And when he heard about this project that we're doing in Portland that I'm going to talk about, he said, gotta come and talk about this one. It's close enough? Cool. All right. So the project we're talking about is the Eastwood Apartments. This is a senior living facility that we acquired and turned to market rate apartments. A lot of people are probably scratching their heads on why you would do that. But before we get into that, just briefly, my background, I'm the project sponsor along with the team at the bottom there who worked with me on this project. I'm an attorney by training. I went and worked 7 years as an in-house counsel for a development company in Sacramento. You guys probably heard of Tiger, the big construction entity. We worked for the real estate subsidiary of them, doing primarily land development deals. So I built a bunch of subdivisions, sold them to home builders. The most fun one that I did was I bought the hospital that I was born in and tore it down. And we were both born there. So we known each other for a lot longer than since 8th grade. Tore it down, built I think 120 homes there. So that was a fun one. I left there. Ran a capital markets firm for a little while. We still have that and do a bunch of equity and debt placement. That's also the same entity we do our real estate deals through. So other projects we have are 190 units in Sacramento that hopefully shovels in the ground this summer. And some other value add and industrial deals around the area.
That's Opportunity Zone still? Does that help you later? Or? It's
Opportunity Zone 1.0 still. So we'll see if the designations hold, but our plan is to fund it this summer and get it going. Most recently, though, I'm spending most of my time on a legal AI platform. I've gotten back into law the last couple of years. I've been litigating some actually real estate housing issues in Northern California, fighting for developers' rights. So we have an AI platform that we've been selling to attorneys. So if there's any attorneys here, we'd love to talk to you about it. And with that, we have 3 acts here. The first act for this project is the acquisition and setup. So how we found the deal, how we raised the funds for it, and then hired the contractor to execute it. So this property is in the Portland area. It's a submarket called the city of Troutdale, which is probably 20 minutes east of downtown Portland. It's kind of a high, it's the fringes of the urban area there. So it's right when you get into what's called the gorge. So kind of a more mountainous area just outside of Portland. So there was this building that had been built in 2002. It was on the market for a while. And one of my agents lives in Portland. And he got wind of this and brought it to us and said, hey, they've been trying to sell this thing for a while. The buyer bought it at $15 million. And something's not working. So we got into it a little bit, and it was a senior living facility being marketed as a senior living facility. And we kind of got under the hood a little bit, figured out they were losing $1 million a year. And mind you, this is 2024. So Senior housing facilities take a lot of operations. It was an 80-ish unit building with a memory care wing. And when you have independent living, assisted living, and memory care all under one roof, that's a lot of operations to scale out over not a lot of units. So it was no wonder they were losing money on the thing. So we looked at it and said, well, we got to get a really good buy on this for us to be worth our while. They were trying to get 14. We threw an offer out at 8.25 and said the building's got to be totally vacant. And they said yes. So we got into our diligence period. The other point here too was multifamily in this area, like Class C stuff, was trading at 200 grand a door. So if we were getting a buy at 100 a door, we had plenty of upward margin to make it work. So first thing we did, we went and met with the city of Troutdale. We wanted to make sure that we weren't going to have any entitlement risk on this thing, that this was an allowed use by right, make sure our pathway to get it under construction was pretty dang clear. This was late spring 2024. So they did confirm multifamilies by right. Like a lot of local agencies, they really want housing. So they said, yeah, we would love this project. We want you to do this. We think it'd be good for the community. We talked through everything like permit pathways, what permits we need to do the work, which is really going to be converting that memory care wing to more multifamily units. And then, like any kind of value add play you would do for an existing multifamily, going through all the units, redoing the finishes, new countertops, new appliances, new light fixtures, you name it. They basically said, don't need permits for anything else. Just get us a permit for the conversion use, which is what we did. And foreshadowing something here, they said that there were no SDC, or they didn't say, they gave us no indication that we're going to have to pay any SDCs, which are impact fees. Does anyone know what an impact fee is? So typically when you go and do a development, you have to pay various fees at the time you get the building permit. Those fees are intended in part to cover the infrastructure that is needed to support the project. Hence the word impact. What's the project's impact on facilities? Foreshadowing that, we'll come back to that in a few minutes. So when we went to go capitalize the thing, we first shopped the debt. You got to start every capital stack with a debt. And we got a loan at 75% loan to cost. We went to probably a dozen lenders on it. We ended up doing a deal with someone who we'd closed with before. Terms were SOFR plus 300 floating rate, which is really dang good debt. So SOFR was at the time around 4.25%. I think so. Our starting rate was 7.25%. It was only going to go down from there, was our view. From there, we filled the rest of it up with equity, threw in our developer fee to the deal to ride out. So the way we do projects is we don't take any cash up front. Everything we get paid is on the back end. So most of the money just came from friends and family, all of it was friends and family, mostly family, to raise, $2.4 million almost. My business partner on this, Craig, is also my uncle. He and I've done a lot of projects together. So whenever we do a deal, he and I co-guarantee any loans that we need to put in place for it. So the overall plan was to refi at an agency loan 18 months after we closed on the property. We bought it in August 2024. These are stats I already kind of went through. The plan was to convert this to an 81 unit building. What that looked like, this is the memory care wing on the bottom floor. The block of units, I guess on the left-hand side there in the red were, probably a dozen memory care units. We converted that to 7 multifamily units, which actually was the original configuration of the building. Whoever bought it turned it into a memory care wing. Then they turned this area up here in the upper right to a little lounge area. We just converted it back to the original configuration, which is another unit. So all in all, we were only adding 8 units, deleting the whole memory care wing. The other thing we had to do was reconfigure the parking lot. Parking ratio here was a little bit lower than 1-to-1, which, we got to have tenants that can park. So we added, I think, 14 parking stalls to the northern area of the property, and you'll be able to see aerial pictures of that in a minute. GC. So we had an architect draw out all the plans, put the construction drawings together. We competitively bid this to several contractors. The winning bid was about $1 million to do that work. We pulled out, we never had them bid out any of the turn work of the units. We were just going to manage all that ourselves through our own subs. So that was just paint, floors, bathrooms, appliances, lights. It was easy stuff to self-manage, and we had some boots on the ground out there who we just had run that for us. Back to the GC though, foreshadowing again, they said they're going to have it all done in 120 days, fixed price of $1 million, and that they had, it was their responsibility to handle all the deferred submittals, which means any mechanical, any electrical, any plumbing, that was all going to be drawings handled by the GC submitted for approval during their course of construction. Trouble, Act 2. So, first problem was the city demanded $400,000 of impact fees. Those were to cover sewer at about $260,000, traffic at $32,000, and parks at $111,000. Anyone have any idea how turning an existing senior living apartment complex to just conventional multifamily has a $260,000 impact on sewer facilities? Keeping the same number of people there, you're actually reducing the operating staff. We deleted a whole commercial kitchen. City couldn't really explain what was going on. So my background as a land use attorney, immediately went to go fight this. And eventually what we did was we paid the fee under protest because we own the property. We had to keep the whole project going. We're not going to let it get held up over a $400,000 issue. So we reserved all our rights and appealed it to the Troutdale City Council. More on that in a minute. This was actually March of 2025. The city halted all work of the building, saying that we needed individual electrical meters for all the units. Now, this was within the general contractor's scope. Remember how I said they had all design work under their scope? Even before we hired them as a contractor, we had them vet this issue and said, do you guys need to go get new meters or panels or anything for these units? And they said no, and they checked with their electrician. So the way this building was configured is there's just a single master meter, and then all the units just were fed off of that one master meter. And the estimated retrofit to do the new meters and panels for the whole building is about $1 million. We didn't want to pay that. And then right around that same time, remember when the city told me that we didn't need permits to do any of the cosmetic work on the other units? Apparently changing a light fixture in Oregon requires a building permit. So if they couldn't get out of their own way for replacing light-for-light fixtures and had to, throw that wrench in the system too. This was an easy one. We just went ahead and pulled the permits, but it's just more time and expense to do pretty basic work. So fast forward, the 120-day GC deadline was blown come May of 2025. They couldn't get it figured out with the local agency how to handle the electrical meters and panels issue. And we gave them a notice of breach and basically had to take the electrical issue back into our hands to get it figured out. And then back to the city appeal of the impact fees. We appealed to the city council. They met twice and then went to a closed session hearing where they decided to deny our appeal. If there are any attorneys in the room, your due process alarm should be going off. So Act 3 is resolution. How do we get all this stuff figured out? So August 2025 is when we finally got the city to let us resume work on the project. We hired an electrical engineer, and the city was invoking a statewide statute that said, individual apartment units need their own electrical meter unless it could be demonstrated that having a single meter will reduce the overall energy consumption of the building. So we took that, got a little creative, called actually the state building inspector for all of Oregon and bounced some ideas off of him. We put a $35 solar array on the $35,000 solar array on the roof, and having that array feed into the master meter was able to qualify as an energy reduction for the whole building. Saved us $1 million. The city was just totally obstinate the whole way through when we were trying to figure this out. Once we got the state guy to come down to them, they caved and we were able to get this thing moved. Here's some before and after pictures of what we built. Obviously on the left is the original senior facility. On the right, we modernized everything, new countertops. We were able to keep almost all the cabinetry in a lot of these units. It was in really good condition. But completely overhauled the bathrooms. We took the flooring out. You see in the left, there was this dark flooring, and throughout the building, we did a lot lighter flooring that opened up the rooms and made them feel a lot bigger. The building had a ton of amenity space, about 25,000 square feet. When you think about it, that's, you have a commercial kitchen and dining area. You have a lot of lounge spaces for the residents of the senior living facility. So we were able to actually do a lot of creative things with that. It's space you wouldn't otherwise build for a multifamily project, and just over amenitize the building. So we have a big old gym. That's where the dining hall was. We have a theater area, a pool table, and some other facilities that weren't pictured here. And a lot of the just kind of dead space we turned into storage. So we put storage racks in there, and tenants are in there renting those out. And we painted the building, made it a lot more modern with a white and kind of charcoal design. So GC finally finished all their work. We got our TCO in December 2025, which we planned to open in April 2025. Obviously, that didn't work. So we had our residents moving in. The GC still had to finish their work by this point in time. And the big reason that we got delayed so much was, the GC's holdup of getting the whole project stalled. They finished their work in February 2026, 10 months late after their May 15th contractual deadline. Dealing with them was actually pretty bizarre through the whole process. I think they knew they screwed up, and they were throwing roadblocks at us almost the whole way through, and trying to basically pin stuff on us, which we weren't going to let that happen. Suggesting the whole way through that any delay was kind of caused by us. So financially, how does this all look? Total project cost in the beginning was about $11.8 million. That's what we had underwritten. Ended up costing us about $13.2. So that includes the $400,000 of impact fees paid to the city. Delay damages, within that's increased interest expense. That's increased property taxes, property insurance, few other smaller things in there. But the biggest one there was interest. I mean, we were paying, I think, $50,000 a month in interest for this thing. And then there were just some other cost overruns, which we decided to paint the building through another $200,000 in the project. We didn't care that was going to overrun because we just thought it was a big value add and, makes it a much more attractive property. So the value we had underwritten was $17.25 million. We've got several BOBs at about $19.5 million. And we plan on going to market with it pretty soon here after we stabilize it. So even at the $13.2 million overrun, which is, it's not going to kill the deal. What was painful is, since we had friends and family money in this, we were going to go do a capital call on them. So Craig and I just funded everything out of pocket with a partnership loan to keep the project going. So what are the things that we're doing about the cost overruns? Because the deal still works, but it's money that shouldn't have been taken from us. We are pursuing legal action against the city of Troutdale. As I mentioned, I'm an attorney. two key investors in our project who are also my father and my father-in-law are also attorneys. So they kind of rattle the hornet's nest a little bit. They're going to get a pretty nasty lawsuit filed against them in the next couple of weeks. And against the general contractor, their major failure here was they didn't account for all the electrical work that had to be done, or at least have a plan to not have to do the work. They'd probably gotten the permits done in the first place, submitted the electrical drawings, said you don't need to do an electric meter configuration here. We would have never run into that problem. So, that $627,000, primarily interest expense, is stuff we're going to go back after the contractor for. Interestingly, we back on the contractor for a sec. In June, we had offered them a deal. We said, look, just get the thing done by September, take $75,000 off of the invoice, and then we'll just call it a day. We'll just be done. And the September date actually came from then. They said, yeah, we can get this done by then. And they, thumb their nose at us for that deal. So they're going to get hit with about 10 times more than that. So lessons learned from this. Rule number one, you get a great buy on your property. You don't get a good basis in your acquisition. You're going to be constantly running up against your profit margin the whole way through. Buying at $100,000 a door and stuff is trading for 200 gives us plenty of safety. Local agencies can't get out of their own way. They all say they want housing. They say they want new development. And this is characteristic of cities all over the place, not just California. Portland's pretty notorious for it. They throw up roadblocks and building inspectors getting their little fiefdoms and will be a thorn in your side. Find a GC who has good relationships with the agency. You want someone who can actually work with the inspectors when things come up. We weren't expecting that this would be a totally smooth sailing ride. The issues are going to happen during construction. But you want a GC who can actually work with the inspectors and find solutions to get everyone everyone to the finish line.
So the inspectors in the city is what you call agency?
Yeah, the local agency, local government. So if you ever did a project where you're converting the senior living facility, maybe you found another one that was underwater that's negative cash flow, all that common area is really valuable. I mean, it's, like I said, it's space you wouldn't otherwise build for a conventional multifamily project. Replacement cost of that is pretty dang high. So use it, turn it to amenities. When people walk in our building, when the tenants walk in and they're touring, they look around and they see this big old gym, they see a pool table and they say, wow, this is pretty nice. And it shows better than a lot of brand new Class A properties in the area. Have a strong legal team. I'm obviously biased to that. Stuff's going to come up and you have to be able to, carry a big stick when, contractors, local agencies, anyone who you're dealing with isn't acting in line. And then, you got to also have reserves. If you're going to take on a real estate yeah.
Staying line to the property.
We're in lease up right now. Yeah. So we just got the temporary CFO in December. Terrible time of year to lease properties. The leasing season is really picking up now. So we are at, I think, 35% today. And we're starting to get a lot more foot traffic. I mean, Portland especially, it's so rainy up there. The winter months, people are staying inside. The leasing season really swings a lot harder up there.
You see the man.
We do, yeah. We are offering Class A amenities at a Class B price. It's if you for area median income, our rents are affordable to people making about 70% of median income up there.
You just mentioned rents. So looking at
Our one bedrooms are about 1,400. Two bedrooms, I think, range from 1,650 to 2,000. And we could have charged more, but our goal is to fill the thing up. And the projects that the multifamily projects we do, we tend to be more in the middle of, and that's just like part of our philosophy. We want to be in the middle of income profiles as opposed to on the higher end.
Still listed as Class A?
I'd say this is like a B plus, maybe. Yeah. And then the last one here is, you got to have reserves to get a project done. Nothing's ever going to go according to plan. So have a plan to get the money in to keep the thing funded and moving. So like I mentioned, we're in lease up right now. Plan is to sell the thing ideally in fall time here, and then pursue our claims against the city and the contractor.
With the given friction for real estate, why do you choose to invest in senior living?
So
You obviously have 7 years of experience with getting deals, funding deals, what attracts you?
good economy or bad economy, people need a place to live. So, if you look at,
Can you repeat the question for the last one?
so yeah, she was asking why invest in multifamily as an asset class.
No, I'm not. I'm saying specifically this senior living as a class, multifamily, right? Being that obviously have a lot of experience as a lawyer, and you've seen a lot of deals coming through. Why these deals are super attractive to you, given the frictions of the real world that come into play? Clearly, you obviously have experience.
Yeah, for this one, the only reason we did this deal was we got a good buy on it. Dude, she was asking this particular deal. Why would you do this deal? And it really is. We were able to get the thing at such a good buy. We bought it way below replacement cost. The people who bought it before us spent, I think, $15 million in the property, and we got it for 8.25. So nearly half.
Maybe to expand on that, I think the question perhaps you're asking and I'm curious about too is, at a time when there's so many baby boomers retiring and senior housing is in such demand, and maybe a higher revenue per bed or per room in that space, how did you justify going from a higher revenue source or asset class to traditional multifamily? Was it because of the additional units?
So the people we bought it from were a national senior living operator, and I don't know that space extremely well, but if they can operate this thing profitably, there's something wrong with it. I don't know if it's a sub-market. I don't know, but the sense I got from reading between the lines and trying to tease out from them after we bought the property from them, why doesn't this work? I think that they tried to scale operations for assisted, independent, and memory care over too few units, and it broke. They were losing $1 million a year, and also, me personally, I wouldn't want to be in that business. It's too operations heavy.
Okay.
What kind of return will your investors realize when you sell it?
So right now, the positive, what were the numbers here? So we're in it for 13.2. Profit on there is like, that's assuming we got the BOV value, that's $6 million. And they profit. And our total equity check from the LPs, the total LP equity plus GP equity is about $3 million. So it's a 3x at the deal level.
So 35% occupancy. And what is the target to make sure that the 10 months delay and the return of the investment? 35% occupancy should be 80-90%.
What's your break even point? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Our break even point?
See on your left deal.
Yeah, break even after about 15% is break even. Yeah. Maybe 52, I think.
I'm just curious how many
How many bids and estimations did you get for this particular?
4.
Oh, you got 4.
Yeah.
How many months?
We bid it over a 2-3 week process.
Sorry.
But Avia has actually a plan of collecting tons and tons of bids. It's a real nice in-month process when you start.
Oh, cool. I'd love to hear about that.
What's your process for vetting lenders? Like, how do you find them?
So we have what's the process for vetting lenders? So we have a capital markets business. I've got 4 guys who work for us, and all they do is place debt all day. This particular lender we worked with was someone who's a repeat lender for us. They knew us, we knew them. We were able to get really good financing through them. And I mean, when stuff hits the fan as they're going through the deal, they were willing to work with us. So this was a bank.
Oh,
Yeah. We did go to 2 debt funds on it. I mean, for comparison on interest rate, the debt funds were going to charge about 10% fixed over the life of the whole thing. They weren't going to give us any more leverage. And if you ever work with a private lender, they tend to have pretty nasty covenants in a lot of their loans. Banks do too, but the bank was someone we've done deals with before, and if something goes wrong, we had a person who we could talk to.
So can you help me understand, like $1 million for a GC, how was that kind of allocated for the work that he had to do? So for example, you added 7 units, you also did some parking lot, you also reimbursed on the common areas, right? So like how much percent or how many went to kind of each category of the GSA?
So the parking lot was a different contractor. That was, I think, $130,000. That's not part of $1 million GC number. I don't remember off the top of my head how that was allocated, but I mean, the stuff that was within their scope, that gym that you saw, they redid all that. That was, they had to tear out the dining facilities. They had to tear out the kitchen and turn that. The kitchen became storage space and a bike locker. So that's pretty easy, cheap stuff to build. You just put walls up, sheetrock, paint. The other stuff that they worked on were the laundry facilities. So, I mean, the facilities are pretty sparse in this thing. So we don't have a unit washer and dryer, unfortunately. But they added, I think, 8 laundry machines and dryers to the various floors. So I think we had a pretty good ratio of machines there.
I have a question. About GC growth. Can you go back especially and were you mentioning that soft cost was part of the GC plan, engineering and design and permitting? Was that $1 million including? No.
Right. Well, so we have an architect do all the construction drawings on the front end. And then, for the deferred submittals, they're typically like shop drawings.
Yeah.
And that was within their scope. Yeah.
Within the GC scope.
Correct. So they would typically have like their electrical sub.
$1 million.
Yeah.
We put the house, we built a very house now, half a house. So I'm like, what a good deal for you. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, the work that they had to do was really more like a TI. It was a TI as opposed to like a ground up build, right? I mean, we moving walls, putting light fixtures and plumbing fixtures in.
Will you take advantage of cost segregation?
Yes.
How much did you save on that? You guys see that?
So on the 2025 tax returns, we got to place into service. One of the big things we had to do is get it placed into service in 2025, right? So that's why the December TCO was super important. We had 2 people move in December. Got us the bonus appreciation for that year. I think for every dollar you put in, you got $1.25 of depreciation in year 1, maybe a little bit higher.
Yeah, first off, bravo. Wow. This is spectacular.
Thank you.
The only thing I can the only thing I can think of is going back when you first talked with the city. Is there anything
there that you could have done in retrospect? I mean, this is always 2020 hindsight. Is there anything that you could have done getting them to get something in writing to help you not have those issues later on?
And or if you were willing to do something like that, or if they just said you're not really interested with your developers.
So the two issues were the SDC, the impact fees, and then the stopping work because of the electrical issue, right? So I guess then also, permit to change a light bulb. The biggest one, well, the SD, I don't know, one's bigger than the other. The SDC issue, we could have, I guess, explicitly confirmed with them there wouldn't be any impact fees. I mean, to me as a land use attorney, intuitively, there shouldn't have been any. I get the traffic impact fee, maybe, because senior residents aren't going to drive as much as younger residents. But as far as the other ones, that came out of left field to us. Even if they had told us they were going to charge that, I still would have challenged it. But at least it would have been in our budget in the front end, and we would have had money there to pay for it from, for example, the bank loan, as opposed from my checking account. For the electrical panel issue, that's kind of one where we had to rely on our own people, because we weren't going to get the city to walk out there and say, hey, do we need to put new meters on it? We would have had to ask a very directed question. So we had to rely on our own design team. And, like I mentioned, we had brought this up with the contractor ahead of time, and they checked with their, so we were relying on professional advice. Maybe get a second opinion. Then on the changing the light fixture, I think that's kind of just a lesson learned thing. It was relatively minor in the grand scheme of things. So
I have one last question. And participate in the next one?
sure.
So you got bid from 4 GCs, and none of them knew about the meter issue.
We took their bids, we interviewed them all, and then we just kind of selected one and just ran with them on the questions like the electrical meter issue. So we never addressed it with the other 3. We only addressed it with the one that we had selected.
Right, but if they're going to give a bid, it's an inclusive project, including if that's needed, and it's up to them.
It was never line itemed out, right? So it was never in the line items. But again, for the one that we did select, we did have an explicit conversation with them about it. It's actually documented via email, which is great for us.
So in that case, the feeling, is it like included with the rent? No,
We just have a RUB system. So we do RUBs by square footage of units.
it's all, or it's just what we don't pay. It's all just fresh potato.
Right. And I mean, electricity up there is so dang cheap. It all comes from a hydropower. It's probably like 10% of what you pay in PG&E.
$1,000 in PG&E.
No. It may be less than 10% of PG&E's cost.
Yeah, thank you. I was just I just wanted to talk about the 4 bids and why the electric wasn't included. So my question to you was there a customized RFP that went out to GCs? Yes. And in that RFP, was it specifically stated on the electrical piece? The only reason why I'm asking is because this seems to be the question. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, then
we did it as a design build for all the MEPs.
But does design build include the checking with the city and getting that documents in the RFP?
Well, when you submit the trade permit to the city, the electrical or mechanical or plumbing permit to the city, you have to get the city's approval before you can build it. So, yeah, it would include city approval of all the MEPs.
Okay. I'm not challenging.
No, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I found that I was saying, but you say, because the bid is usually there's a blank.
plan comes from architecture. There were some the first submittals that probably included this electrical part of the equation. That's why I got a little messed up. Because this should be seen by the GCs up front, included in the bid. And he apparently didn't because it was not there. He found out later on when they went through the first submittals. Oh, I said, wow, we didn't know that. He was supposed to know that. It was the architect that's supposed to know that. And he should put it in the plan. But if you owned up for that, that's the problem. I wouldn't look to that. Like, if I would be putting meters grabbing unit or not, that's a pretty code for him not to really be acting fighting for. He would know the code that, to certain level that, building code would be. But if it's stimulus line to, go on a monkey and ask or something like that, architect would have to do.
I mean, in this case, everything on the architecture plans. So it called out all the stuff that the GC would have had to do. So it was very detailed line item on the plan set, what the GC was supposed to be designing toward.
So that initial plan didn't have the meters laid out, right? You would have seen those electrical lines, those being, then you would have included it, right? That would have included it. But it wasn't there because part of the first metal.
Yeah, they were in the first metals.
That's why we lost it.
Yeah.
Any more questions? No. Oh, there we go. This lady was wearing glasses the whole time, and now she's so interested. She took her glasses off. Okay.
I apologize because I am blind without my glasses and I left my regular glasses in my car. So my prescriptions have to so I need to like I'm new to multi-units. I'm actually a serial high volume flipper in the Bay Area. So we do single family homes, but this is my main interest. So I have been receiving a lot of pitches from people around the country for new developments for multi-unit consulting. So what is your, what is your step zero, your feasibility? How do you determine, that this is a good building, this is a good neighborhood? Case in point, I have a use case right now. Someone pitched to me a parcel lot in a city not far from here. And with the total plans for a 3-2 plus an ADU on each parcel. And all of that is to be rented by university students. There's a university very close by, 0.5 miles. So I don't really know how to get started. What I'm looking for. I don't want to do single family, but I don't know. What do you look for? Share your thoughts.
So for this particular one, it was the basis on the property. Like half the cost of multifamily units that traded in the area, right? So I mean, that was kind of a very easy way of gauging it. But when you look back out at the more macro Portland market, it's incredibly difficult to develop new stuff there. It's hard to get approvals, just like in California, like a lot of major cities, really. And so there's a constrained housing supply. This Portland made negative headlines and everything, but there's still a grossly disproportionate number of renters seeking apartments compared to what's available out there. So overall, the macro is very favorable there. For example, the property we're doing in Sacramento for 190 units. Same kind of thing. We got a good buy on the property. So that one was something we tied up for about $15,000 a door with a long-term option and when got the city to approve entitlements for. So we took the entitlement risk there without going long on the property. Stuff trade, like dirt will trade there 35,000 plus a door. So if we were able to get into it at a basis of 15, we knew at least in the land, we had security there. Yeah, I guess to answer your question, the perspective that we would take is get a good buy whenever you're going into a deal.
We have a question from experience in this.
Yeah, not even. But just for your answer, just so you know, there is services out there that's called feasibility studies. It's worth it to spend $5,000 upfront. High up the property first because you don't want someone else to come and steal it from you. but pay for feasibility study. They'll save you millions on the back end.
When you say tie up, is that curtains or is that
Also kind of get the line signed, get something signed so that they can't go shop your property or someone comes in and says maybe.
Any more questions? All right. Run around like a little rabbit. So the final point is you're not asking us to convert senior housing to residential, right? You're not working on a team. It's a specific project you found a good buy that you can hold. Right?
I would be surprised if I do another one of these.
He really operates. So he's a real estate professional, not to be confused with social media. Because Sean is doing that. Because Sean said he is doing the other thing, right? He's trying to move from like some apartment. He's trying to come to single living. Like that's why you're understanding the thief. The theme you're advocating.
No, I mean, we just do opportunistic deals. I mean, something we've looked at a couple times is, converting an extended stay to multifamily, that kind of thing. I mean, a lot of people who did that got a little over their ski tips. We're actually looking at buying one that was broken right now. Maybe they got it to stabilization, but they spent $39 million on it. It's probably worth 25. So, there's things like that out there.
Like that, right? No, you're not doing something nobody else is doing.
Right.
And so at exit of this property, you still possibly have pending litigation. So do you pull back distributions in anticipation of legal fees, or how do you navigate that, especially if you're acting as counsel?
We would, if we had to fund litigation, we'd hold back something to fund it. But we anticipate these things will probably settle pretty fast.
Thank you.
Fantastic question. Any more questions? Any more insights from the chair, Grant?
I'm empty.
Thank you so much. All right. So now it's time where we're going to share a couple resources and get you back to networking, get some more drinks, get into the bartender. First things first, do we have any wins? This is the last one. But anybody have any wins? Toby, I've been here. What's up?
So I've been talking to self-storage facility owners, talking to one today. Might have a deal.
All right, you're interested in self-storage, talk to Thomas. Any other wins? No? I think a win. Oh, here we go, Ginger.
Getting into a contract with a retail property. That's what
Okay, retail. Tell us, that's what the retail people want. I think the win is this couple coming together. I mean, how awesome is it they got buy-in from your spouse on investment decisions? That's a win right there. I think she dragged him here, right?
The other way.
The other way around. Okay, all right. So, any other wins? No? All right. Jill, that's like, you have a win.
I had to talk before that last week.
Fantastic. So yeah, that's like a win because that's a connection that comes out of the meetup. So that's a win. Thank you, Allison. And talk to Allison about photography. She has some ups out with she has some AI photography things going on. So talk to her.
I think my DJ.
What is it?
DJ.
I see. DJ next time. We'll talk to it.
No, I don't need it for this one. I'm just saying for fun.
That's one. As we be speaking, I just received a ratified contract on 200 That's really good. That's really. Cam has a couple hotels, so you should talk to her. She's connected to some people as well. Anybody have a deal that they want to talk about operating? Come. You got something, Blake?
Sure. Hey, I have a 30-door units in Decatur. They're asking is, I know the owners personally is off my deal, so 30 doors instead of 30 per door. It's C-class properties in Decatur, Illinois, and 6 units in Cincinnati. So if anyone is interested, let me know.
All right. If you're interested in housing, investment, multifamily, anything else? I have some information on that deal, so I can send it to you if you don't get his number. Any resources? We have a recommended book by Karen that's on the cabinet. Great book. What is the takeaways from it? Do you remember? Is it like the 15 minutes a day thing or no?
It's like a
I don't know how to describe it. My boyfriend read it years ago.
Micro habits change the habit.
Will you repeat that?
So basically, I read a lot of books. I read this one a really long time ago, before when I was past the projection. This is the one that popped up immediately. What I like about this book, it's not about making big life changes. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. You don't have to do things that change your lifestyle and take 28 days to become a habit. This is all about small micro actions that if you do them consistently over time, they'll change your life. For example, let's say you can make some changes that maybe it only makes 2% difference a month. Okay, at the end of the year, that's 24%. At the end of 2 years, 48%. And in 4 years, you're almost at 100%. So it's little things, low friction, right? So that's what I like about it. I didn't have to go up, change my life, make big changes. So very actionable, very easy to get started. Yeah, great.
An example I think about is just thinking of taking the stairs. Everybody talks about getting in shape and stuff, but often you can burn more calories by just changing your habits outside of the gym than inside the gym and outside of your dietary habits. Jen, you got something?
I'm currently looking for some lending opportunities. I have a couple of people who are looking for lenders. So if you're doing small projects, especially up to 10 million, I got a couple of really small projects and a couple of bigger projects.
Well, you talk to Grant on that too. He's got probably 60 or 70 different relationships with different mentors and stuff. Any aha moments from here? Any aha moments? Allison?
You don't look at money together when you're crafting around. We're really hard. We're running
Just I felt like a Boy Scout. Anything else?
I just want to learn is the MVP plan is the most important thing you worry about in a project like this, right? So that's where most things come up like that. That's important. That's a good thing.
Yeah, if you lose your ass and you estimate $100 on HVAC and it's over $1 million. I mean, right off the bat, you're negative. So, any other items?
Yeah, I was actually very surprised by Arlo. I appreciate what Pablo presented as well. I think we always think about 1031 exchanges and very limited opportunities of how to handle tax issues. And you got me thinking. You got the wheels spinning. So thank you.
Always got a nice exit, but I'm also going to have Forrest Grant against his role in Pablo. So we have, what's that? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So we got a Facebook group. Check it out. We're gonna send out the slides. Join the Facebook group. Let's grow this community. We got a meetup group. That's probably where you heard about us. And bring a friend next time. So on May 12th, our next event, we have RV parks, and then also Carlos. Carlos is here. Oh, he must have to leave early, but Carlos is going to talk about how to get rid of and evict bad tenants legally. So he's going to be our member spotlight. And that's it. I mean, sign up, go out, make deals, bring friends next time, and go have fun. So we're out here. All right, thanks, guys. Yes.